What's happening, everybody? How we doing? Hope all is well. As you see, I have glasses on tonight. My wife punched me in the eye, so I have a really bad black eye. Um, I haven't been behaving. Um, I'm only kidding. I hope tonight we're gonna have some fun. Um, I'm gonna basically do whatever it takes for YouTube to get so upset with me. Um, just keep copywriting because we're gonna play some music tonight and I don't care where it comes from. We're gonna have a good time, and I'm glad everybody's here. So let's rock and roll. I hope you like the entrance. But before I bring in my co-host and my co-anchor, like in the movie Anchorman, um, as we delve back into the 1980s, and we're going to be talking about New York City, what it was like. But anybody out there can share what it was like growing up in your area. Um, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. Any special requests musically, any music, put it in the box. We're here to do it. So let's have some fun. I hope you liked the opening with that little soundbite. But without further ado, let me bring in the Notre Dame's very own and our very own Mr. All right, if I don't do that, he'll get mad at me. Don't tell him I said that because if he hears that I said, oh shit, I didn't know you were there. My brother, what's happening, man?
What's up, Craig? How are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. My wife gave me some beating. That's why I got the glasses on. So I don't want to embarrass myself. So I hope all is well with everybody. I want to look cool tonight. I want to be like the rest of the crowd. I want to be cool, man. So I wish I had one of my Kangos or a bucket hat from the 80s. But let me just take these off. I don't have a black eye, folks. And let's welcome in our crew. I hope everybody's well. Let's up this energy in this place. Templar, what's happening? Matty Boy, Nick. There might even be a point where I get so overcome that I can't control myself, and you might catch me, bopping a little bit. Terry, how are you, my dear? Davey T, love you, bud. OG Ruby, I'm serious. That was a great conversation. CG2, awesome news. I'm glad you shared that with everybody. Don't forget, CG2, you have more information you shared that already on your vacation. That's awesome. All great news. Duke, what's happening, my brother? Always a pleasure to see you. Bobby 900, right in the potato. You know I enjoy that. I know Davey T likes my background, Timmy. I know you're impressed. I'm getting good with this shit. Let's see who else is in the house, and then let's get Templar. What's happening? Sally Boy, what's the good word? Sally, so you caught me. I snuck a picture of you in there, Sal. You saw that shit at Stevie's wedding? Wow. I couldn't believe I found that. I just want to make sure I get Terry. I said, got you. All right, BX, what's up, my brother? So we're here to talk about the 80s. And, we're going to do many shows on it because, we'll be bouncing back and forth. It's hard to say, we're going to talk about a lot of different things and the conversation will go wherever it goes. But before, I think we greeted everybody. Once we get going here, I want to thank again my partner, Mr. Timmy Irish. Timmy, you will never, ever again come in unannounced and you now officially own that song. And I don't care what YouTube says. That's your song. It's the least I could do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I paid for the rights.
It gets my Irish up.
No, let me play it again. I really want to get it go. But you know what I thought I would do? You know, because I want to let it known right out of the box about who I was. As you see, many pictures of me, like you said, Timmy, tell them what you said as you thought about it. How old were you in 1980? We're not afraid to go there. How old was I? You just mentioned it to me.
I was 20 and you were 13.
That's right. So you saw in some pictures I looked very young. And then you saw me start to go into puberty and get a little older looking. And now I've totally am a disheveled mess. But besides that, I thought, what a good way of Dookie. I thought I'd let you guys know right out of the box, we're in the 80s now. For this next, whatever amount of time we have, we're in the 80s. So I'm not afraid to let you know there's no type of music I truly didn't like. So I went from the beginning of hip hop. I'm not ashamed to, back then you had to hide and say you didn't like disco. I used to hang out in the road. We'll get into it in New York City. The boroughs, you had roller discos. They were like roller clubs, on roller skates. We'll get into that. Right, Tim?
Yes.
Maybe you didn't do it, but I was breaking it down.
No, I did. I
played roller. This white guy got down.
Roller disco night.
That's right.
That's where all the girls were.
Absolutely. But I thought I'd kick it off with, I'm sorry, I think we should go right to a little music before anything.
Hold on. Before you do anything,
go ahead.
I want to say hello to our two favorite supporters. Hello, Elizabeth Gatto, and hello, Grandma Gatto. Hope you guys are having a great evening out there.
Thank you very much. And believe me, I told you that made Elizabeth's day, Grandma Paula as well. And they watch every night. You know, she got to keep an eye on her son. And my daughter's always got to keep, you got it, Nick. And my daughter always has to keep an eye on her pops. And to tell you the truth, she's with me all the time. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nothing against my boys. They're my boys. But I want to play a little something, see if you guys like it or not. We're going to play a lot of different stuff. We're going to talk a lot of different stuff. So without further ado, let's get to a little music. Uh-oh, Tim, I'm going to go in. Yeah. I figured I'd kick it off with a little foreigner, but I'm going to be moving the music around because this is what I wanted. I got people sending in requests. So I'm going to feel a little bit like Casey Kasem back in the day. Remember? The top. Yes. Hello, this is Casey Kasem. I'll be playing the top 40. Remember? He used to annoy the shit out of me. But anyway, so please, nobody look up what year that song was made because I refused to listen that it was made in 77. I said, they'll never know. But being that I'm transparent, I'll tell you guys, just because I listened to it in the 80s, the song actually, full transparency, was it remained a hit all the way through. But Cold as Ice and some of their early stuff, Urgent, was late 70s. That being said, Tim.
Yeah.
Tell me about, and we're going to get to the music. I'm telling you, we're not going to stop. I got the Ohio players so far, and I got, I'm going to do some breakdancing shit. My mother's already told me if I break anything in the room, I'm paying for it. So, I'm already, she's worried. You might see my daughter because she likes to dance, so she knows I'm crazy. But we're going to go through a lot, So we got the Ohio players. We got a lot of requests. Get your requests in, folks. You know how you ask Jimmy questions? Put your music in the box. And we don't charge here, so it's better than a jukebox. Right, Tim? But you know what I want to ask you, Tim?
Yeah.
Forget Queens, because I'll go into a little bit about Queens and some things, let's try to stay early 80s for tonight. 80, 81, 82, maybe 83 if you want. It's hard, to remember that far back. But 1980, you're 20 years old, right?
Yes.
I'm 13. 1980 at 20, who is Timmy Irish?
Well, I was a hardworking guy, and I was in love with the ladies, and that's where I have my love of
There
music.
have it.
That was the height of the what started to be, I guess, a lifetime of chasing women. But I love to be in the company of women. I had enough of hanging out with guys all the time, and me and a couple guys, we bought a couple suits, we got dressed up, and I told you we used to go all over, and I met women from all over the place. But the '80s were, if you were alive in the '80s, it was a special time. I mean, it was the best years of my life. I could tell you that. I mean, I never had so much fun. And what I remember the '80s ushered in was still disco music. I used to date a lot of girls, and they loved that disco, boy. That was the thing. Me, I
Yeah,
was different. I liked I grew up on Motown. I don't know. As a young boy, I fell in love with Diana Ross, and I liked Michael Jackson. I liked the Jackson Five, so it was a fit for me. But the other side of me was rock and roll. I loved rock and roll. There was nothing like it. And being with dating different girls, I learned like as I got older, techno music, all kinds of different music. But
yeah, I like EDM. Yeah, they call it techno, but I love EDM.
I,
Um,
I'm not a good dancer, so I used to
yeah,
like
I'm not either.
the '50s. I love the '50s music, and
Mhm.
I like some music by the Stones, but I love like Pink Floyd. I love Deep Purple. You
Yeah, my
know,
brother Joey loved that shit. I was more of like I said, I was more of disco Danny, breakdancing. I was more again. You were 20, I was 13,
yes,
so different parts of our life. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, it
So
was also the birth of just shortly before that was the birth of hip hop. We started hearing all kinds of different hip hop tunes, especially in the Bronx. I mean, I knew it was popular all over, but it just picked up something big in the Bronx, and then they go in the park and they put down the cardboard and they'd start that breakdancing, which I thought they had a lot of athletics, the moves they used to do. So I enjoyed that, but I'll be honest with you, I went out with girls that shocked me. They love country music, so there's nights I
yeah,
listened to country
Timmy,
music. And
let me make sure. Yo, everybody in the chat, you guys can see us, right? Are we good or no? Give me a thumbs up.
can they hear us?
Yeah, I want to make sure we're good because I'm seeing some things in the chat and I'm getting a feeling maybe they're not seeing us again. Wow.
Is everything good?
Oh, Terry said yes. All right. So we're good. You guys, all right. All right. Hey, listen, whatever YouTube's got to do, let them do. Like I said the other night, they demonetized us already and they could copyright us on music. That's all right. We're not making a dime anyway. So we're going to do what we do. So if we're going to, we were never here to make a penny anyway. That's a fact. So you know what? When you tell me you're going to now you can't make money, well then guess what? We're going to play music, do whatever we want, kind of like we were doing anyway. So nothing's really changed. So copyright away. With that being said, Timmy, I want to share with you. It's crazy. You're 20, I'm 13, so you're a young man. Um, I'm just getting into my teenage years, so I'm at that time really was more like 83, if I remember right. Breakdancing started really, freestyle came later. But
Right.
yeah, I was always somebody that started in the clubs, like with the roller skating. Didn't play roller hockey like we said, but I learned how to skate to music. I was never ashamed of that. I like to move. And I wasn't one of them guys. I knew, honestly, I identified at a young age. I did like young girl. Not I was young, I liked the ladies. Not at 13, but as I grew into my puberty, we'll
Right.
say, I don't know, my later teenage years, but it started at 13, being at the, learning how to dance on skates with females. And, don't think me and my dudes, my friends that played hockey, we were holding hands and roller skating. No, you're doing whatever you're doing, but we were having fun because they didn't serve alcohol. I could go through it. In Flushing, you had a place called the Pavilion. In the Bronx, we used to go over the bridge, and some people that coached me in football had that. That was one that had something to do with that place. Again, I'm a kid; I know nothing about who's got what, but they had a place called Stars, huge roller club, right where the Bruckner and where St. Raymond's is, St. Helena's, the school. Um, and now there's a Home Depot there. That was a huge, amazing club. But as we got into the later teenage years, we used to go there, say at 15, 16, and we would fight with all the Bronx guys. You guys, you guys are troublemakers.
By Zariga?
No, this is right off of, where the Bruckner is, where you come off the Bruckner. You get over the Whitestone Bridge, you get off at Lafayette
Okay.
Avenue, make the left,
Okay.
act like you're going to get on the service road to the Bruckner again. But
Yeah.
just before you get going towards the old Whitestone movie theater to the left, with
Okay.
Stars Road, now it's a Home Depot.
Yes.
That was huge. Then you had Skate Key on 3rd Avenue. So we had these places. You guys had places. Brooklyn had roller rinks. So those were the young years when we couldn't get into the clubs. Then at 15, we were sneaking into Elephas, all the discos. It was just, for me, a great era of music. I learned a lot. A lot of fun, a lot of crazy shit. But it wasn't. The intention was never to, wasn't about fighting. It was about having a great time and feeling what you were feeling on skates. Or I was never afraid to, I wasn't that tough guy. Oh, you can't dance, you can't do this. Because one of my sons actually tells me, and he believes this in his heart. We laugh, we joke, we break his balls all the time. He says, Dad, very serious. I don't think men should dance, period. I won't say which one it is. And he's very serious about that. I said, well, I laugh, of course. I said, why? Because he grew up watching me and his mother dance all the time.
Right.
Oh, maybe that's a hint. Anyway, why would you say that? I say, and he looks at me dead serious. Men should not dance. I don't, and he loves music. He goes, I don't get it. I don't understand. You will someday. Anyway, that being said, what do you say we hear a little more music, my man? We had a special request. Let's go to the jukebox and see what we got. Somebody, I think, asked for this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, that's it. Nikki, this one's for you. Put it in. that being said, so we go through during this roller skating era, Timmy.
Yeah.
What was happening is, by like 14, 15 now, there was no such thing as like, so I grew up in Flushing, Queens, right? It's really a melting pot. So like some would probably think that don't know me. There's people in here that do, that know where I grew up compared to where they lived. So Flushing, where I'm from on 149th Street, Northern Boulevard, melting pot. So like I was zoned to go to what everybody said, oh, that's a dangerous school. So I was, my friends were all Black, Spanish, Guyanese, Irish, Greek. And back then there was no, we didn't have, as you're getting older, there was no mob, fuck the mob. Who always think of that? But when you were together, we weren't gangs. There was the word gang was gone,
Right.
and we had what was called crews.
Yes.
And now I know talking to my wife, she would say, it was funny because we were talking about it, and I said, yeah, I belong to a crew called, and if anybody's out there, watching that knows me from the day and this era, we had a crew called the Seven Stars. So fucking gay. But no, but that's what was going on. And we would wear blue sweatshirts, or we had like 3 different colors, blue, red, and white, with old English lettering, with stars, and everything was like a certain way. And what we would do is we'd go to other schools when they had like recreation night, which was like maybe it's a Thursday night, like an open school, like you play ball or you break dance, whatever it was. But it always ended up in a fight. It always ended up one school was going to go battle another school. And it always ended up with somebody getting too close with the breakdancing or something happening. And a fight always broke out. So, can you touch on any of that in the Bronx? My wife told me the reason why I'm saying this is because my wife said they used to wear because the girls here did it too. They'd wear the sweatshirts with the Pisces or whatever zodiac sign with the old English and different colors. Do you remember any of that? Now you're 20 at the time, but do you remember any of the youth wearing stuff like that?
No.
Okay, well, sorry, Tim, you missed out on a great thing.
No,
No?
because no.
You're working.
I think by the time I hit 17, we all dressed when we went out like our father's generation. It was always the leather shoes, the slacks. I mean, I used to wear. Do you remember Playboy? I can sing, Dave. I'm Irish, brother. I have no problem singing. But do you remember Playboy shoes, Craig?
Yeah, let me just make sure. Again, I think, but it didn't go off the last time it went off. So
What went off? What are you talking
I
about?
want to make sure that they're still seeing us because they're putting things in the comment like if we're down. I want to make sure that we're up. You guys could still see us. Welcome back. So they took us down.
That's probably because you played that whole song.
All right. So what I'll do is to be a good boy. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Walk a little while.
Did you let me ask them first. Did you guys hear the whole Foreigner song? Yes or no? Give me a thumbs up. Yes or no? Good. All right. Thanks, Sally. Did you hear any of the Fire song by the Ohio Players? Did you hear any of the Ohio Players? Davey T's got a thumbs up. So how long were you guys off for? Sal says no. Some people heard it, some people didn't. Okay. All right, no problem. Don't worry about it. I will be singing with Timmy for the rest of the night. He's not informed. I just told him right now. 2 minutes, Davey. All right. Hey, listen. When in Rome, right?
I saw a question there Duke Lopez asked about the Hells Angels.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
The only thing I knew about growing up about the Hells Angels was stuff I read in magazines. And then one night we were in the village drinking on West 4th Street. They had the Blue Note there, and they played the whole R&B, the Motown, and then Kenny Castaways. They played all kinds of rock bands and stuff. But anyway, we were walking around there, and then a guy showed me. He said, "This is the Hell's Angels headquarters in New York here." But I'll be honest with you, except the local guys, the local street gangs like the Chingaling, stuff like that, I never saw the Hell's Angels really in New York. I don't know about you,
Hey,
but I
Lola, go ahead, Timmy. Go ahead. I'm just telling Benny that YouTube loves us. Go ahead.
Duke, well, one night I was up in a place called the Westchester County Theater, and I took my kids to watch wrestling, and just by coincidence, I sat next to Iran Barkley, the middleweight champion of the world. And then we were there for a while. He had a lot of kids with him. So I brought all the kids to the stand and I bought them soda and candy. And when I came back, um, Chuck Zito was standing up against the curtains on the side.
Right.
So I called him. I said, "Hey, Chuck, come here, sit down." So he came over, he sat down. And when he sat down, it was the first time he was right next to me. He had the Hells Angels cut on. Now, a lot of guys didn't believe me growing up, but Chuck Zito was part of the Chingalings. I didn't know that till later on in life.
Yeah, I had heard that. I
Yeah.
didn't know it either, and I know the Chingalings were heavy in the Bronx.
They were like big on Webster Avenue.
Yeah, heavy. I don't want to get. Yeah,
And
somebody
so
close.
anyway, I said to him, "You want something to drink?" He said, "No, I don't drink." I said, "All right, you want a Coke?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, I'll get you a Coke." So anyway, I got up, I went back, I got him a Coke, and now I come back. There's about 10 Westchester County troopers around him. So I put the soda down and I walk right over and I said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And the trooper said to me, he said, "If he's going to stay, he has to take his cut off." I looked at the cop. I said to the cop, "Are you crazy or something, man? This guy's a Hell's Angel. He ain't taking his cut off for you or nobody else. I mean, don't you know anything about these guys?" So Chuck Zito told me, he said, "Tim, he said, take it easy. Don't worry about it." He said, "I'm going to leave." But I remembered that in the 70s, there was so much gang violence that they outlawed it. I don't know if it's still on the books, but like in the late 70s, if you had a cut on that had any affiliation, they
Yeah.
were taking you in. And I guess they were using that. But I said, "Damn, my first time to get to talk to the guy, Hell's Angels, actor, he was a boxer, bodyguard. He cracked, I wanted to ask him, he cracked, what do you call it? Claude Van Damme."
Well, you know what? We might have a couple of people in the chat. I don't know if people. I believe they shut us down for a couple of minutes. That's fine. We're back on, I believe.
Really?
But we must have lost a bunch of people. But that, hopefully they'll see we're back on. Um,
I don't know why.
Either, we might be able to get those answers. I do know from what little, not little, my 15 years, and then some in the Bronx. And I knew nothing about the bike world. I mean, little bit, but spent no time in that. Never claimed to have. But I knew guys that were doing their thing. Never asked questions about that. But being in the Bronx, I used to, from time to time, see one particular Chingaling, and he was a gentleman, a gentleman's gentleman, a really what I thought was a good guy. But I believe on the grand scheme of things, they were considered small. But I'm sure we can get some great advice or great expertise on that or answers on those things from maybe some of the people in this room.
There was, maybe you notice, Tremont Avenue. I'll never forget this. It was like 100 degrees out. It was 1983. I was laid off from the Daily News. They moved to New Jersey. And I'm walking across Tremont Avenue. And it's a long walk all the way to, it's basically Morris Park to the Grand Concourse. So I look and I see a beer sign, look like a window of a bar. And it's like 11:30 in the morning. So I go in and I order a beer. There's a black lady behind the bar. She gives me the beer. I sit down. As I'm drinking the beer down, my eyes are up in the air. And I see all these cuts on the wall. and it says Black Falcons. And then I look outside the door and I walk right past it. There must have been 1,000 motorcycles out there. And I said, "Oh shit, man." I said, "Man, am I in the wrong place?" Because the white guy didn't do that, walk into an all black club. But anyway, the guys were nice to me. And it turned out one of the guys was my father's car mechanic. So, I mean, it's a small world, the Bronx. But that was the only other motorcycle gang I knew. And they were older men. They were like we are now, but like 40s to 60s. They weren't, young fellas. But the only thing I had with those guys.
Matty says he met Chuck at UFC 20 years ago.
Wow.
Really cool. That's awesome, Matty. I don't, again, yeah, of course I had people, say different things, educate me on, and have respect for the bikers, especially the one percenters. You better, be a gentleman. But, and again, I don't want to, delve into, the history of, kind of working alongside them in the street. Not me particularly, but there's many of history of that. But so now I want to thank you for sharing that beautiful. No, honestly, sharing that about the Bronx. Let's come back to Queens now. If anybody has anything they want to share on what was going on, early '80s in their areas, jump in. If you think the music stopped, it has for now. But I'm sure we might get another shutdown. But you know what? Our goal isn't to ruin a show either. I just like to break chops every now and then. But I'll figure out a way. If I got to sing to you guys to make you leave, I will. The idea is just to have fun.
Craig, you know what the funny thing about that question is? I know Duke served in our military.
Yes.
The funny thing about that question is never mind a motorcycle. You couldn't afford the gas to put in it. I mean,
absolutely. That's right.
I mean, the 80s for me economically got much better, no question about that. But having motorcycles back then, I mean, guys didn't have money for that. That was, I had, you remember the mini bikes?
Yeah, I was never into that stuff. You saw, well, I don't know if you watch it, but you see, I put a picture of my cousin Jackie Boy up there.
Yeah,
he was a mini bike maniac.
They were great, Craig. With the
I'll be honest, I was afraid of that shit. I'm not. I'll tell you what it was. I didn't know. Hell no, you ain't getting me on that.
Those funds in the 46th precinct, they took it from me.
Yeah, I wasn't a thrill seeker.
I was like 11, 12 years old. I had 2 cop cars chasing me. I said, I think I better pull over,
Yeah, and you know what? It's probably the trauma that my brother Joey, God rest his soul, put me through of him driving, stealing cars, me being in the car, him driving like 120, cops chasing him. I'm in the car, I'm a kid, and he's just telling me, hold on, like it's normal. I just didn't like, maybe that was my indoctrination into not loving the speed so much. So you were never going to find me on a roller coaster, a Ferris wheel. But the crazy thing is, yeah, I had a fear even later in life of those crazy rides or bungee jumping. No, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to bungee jump, or the guy in the fucking bird suit jumping off a mountain. No, I can think of better ways to kill myself. What I'm saying is this, but yet I had no problem going 80 stories up with a building, on an outside hoist car.
With the Ferris wheel was the best.
I didn't. It's weird. It's a crazy thing. It really is.
Craig, the Ferris wheel? You take the girl on the Ferris wheel?
Hold on a minute. I'm not talking about the fucking carnival Ferris wheel. All right? But I got to tell you, I wouldn't have went on that either, because those bastards gave you the cheapest shit in the world. Why would I get on it?
Oh, I love that. I used to go up with the girl, and we got up top. I'd tell her, look, and then I'd kiss her.
Yeah, you tell them to stop it. Yeah, you son of a gun.
It was just great. It was a great time.
No, it's beautiful. This is what this is about. So we got our guys are talking about. We got a lot of biker talk going
What do
on,
you
and
say
David,
about
we got a
how
lot of guys here that love their motorcycles. In the crew in the chat, I feel bad if anybody wind up leaving because we got shut down. So that I do feel bad about. So you know what?
Yeah, I saw that. You see what Dave said? I saw guys used to do that.
What's
They used to
let me see what he said.
they take the motor from the Stratton lawnmower and they put it on the frame and they you drive it. I remember that. That was good stuff. Not that anybody. I mean, if you had a lawnmower, you stole it. You certainly didn't have any grass to mow. That was for damn sure. But and you
So
know,
go ahead,
you were
brother.
talking about cars.
Right. No.
I borrowed a lot of cars that didn't belong to me, but
Yeah.
God punished me because I had some really nice cars later on, and they were taken from me. And every time they were taken from me, I used to look up and I'd say, "Okay, only 3 more to go, God." you know,
I got to tell you, man.
the
I'm
cars.
not.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
I'm not glorifying it, but Craig, the cars were easy, especially the Chevys. You just lift up the hood, and over the wheel well mount, there was a plastic plug, and there was 2 metal things, and it was rubber cover that went over it. You just pulled it up, and you crossed the screwdriver out between the 2 plugs, and she started right up. And once we learned that, then it was on.
Yeah. Again, I was more of, especially as I got older, I was more of like, yeah, I was intrigued, especially oh, the midlife crisis, the men, everybody wants a motorcycle at 40. You know what I mean? That never rode before. But I was always intrigued with bikes. I always loved the beauty of the motorcycle. Do not get me wrong. Loved it. Loved them. I probably would have wound up getting one if I didn't get in trouble when I did, because that's when I was really itching to learn how to ride, and not to be just to cruise, But you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at me, but I don't give a shit. I was doing security, and we used to have a guy that used to come, and he worked for New York, the New Yorker. You remember it was a big magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was one of the top cartoonists for the New Yorker, right?
Yes. Excuse me, sorry.
And he was one of the top cartoonists for the New Yorker. So he used to pull up to this place called Schiller's in his Vespa. It was like the one from Italy, not the shit they drive today.
That's a nice little scooter.
Right. So me, I didn't give a shit. I would tell somebody, yeah, I'm going to disappear for a while. And I would just leave the front door, get on his Vespa. He was cool. I took care of him and whatever. And I would go cruise around Tribeca in the areas of Manhattan.
Yeah.
With his Vespa. And that's when it hit me. Vespa, traffic on Broadway. I'm doing maybe only 30, 35, but I realized, I get hit by one of these cars, I don't have much of a shot here. So call me a punk, whatever it is, I realized wasn't for me. Not in full traffic. So I'm man enough to say, I don't think I would have been that guy doing 100 on the highway, 120, whatever. No. Well, and even my cars, I wasn't a muscle guy. I drove more. When I had it, I'd like to be more comfortable. And, it was my dream as a kid to always have a Cadillac. So when I was able to do that, it wasn't causing no life shit. Yeah, it went hand in hand kind of. But, yeah, I was a Cadillac kind of guy. I didn't want speed. And I had a truck. So, I wasn't really a speed demon. Yeah, I could hit the gas if I had to. Yeah. I could be a wheelman if I needed to be, but it wasn't my thing. My brother Joey was a speed fucking demon. And you guys would have really appreciated that. He was meant to be on a motor. You know what? Maybe he wasn't, because he probably would have lost his life a lot earlier. Yeah, Dookie, let's go riding. I'm ready. You're never too old. Just like I feel like I got to go. I said that, again, high rise is no problem, but the bungee jumping thing, there are some things before I go, I would like to do it just to say I did it. Like you're gonna laugh here. I know we were supposed to be talking about the '80s, so I don't want to, but I wanted to get sprayed. I'll make you laugh. I was always the one. If there's, I don't know, we lost a bunch of people, but they were here earlier. They would tell you that I was just stupid. Like I would tell, go get rat traps. Dare everybody, go ahead, see if it hurts. I would do it, just to be an idiot. So I wanted to feel what it was like to get sprayed with mace, pepper spray, spray me. I want to feel it. Boy, that is a son of a bitch. Boy, did I regret that one. But you know what? If you ask me what it feels like to get sprayed, I could give you an answer. I'll tell you that. So, maybe I wasn't good with a motorcycle, but I enjoyed getting sprayed with pepper spray. I guess that was the alternative. But let's get back to 1982. It was a special year.
I got a question about 1982 for you.
You got arrested in 1982?
No, not 1982.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. All right.
Do you or anybody know what a rent party is?
What's it called?
A rent party.
Nah, talk to me. Talk about it.
When I lived on Villa Avenue, but I always hung out. I told you guys no, I wasn't accepted, but I always hung out where I grew up, basically, and where I was born, rather. And my dad was a super, and when we had some southern black people lived in the building, and there was a lady, we called her Mama Jones, and she liked to hit the bottle. She always had a little bottle of J&B under a blanket, in the wheelchair. But at the end of the month, when they knew they were going to be short with rent, they'd put signs all over the place, and they'd have a rent party. And they'd go up there, it'd be music, and you buy the drinks, there'd be all kinds of food, and I loved it. There was southern fried chicken, and it was all kinds of good food. And I'd go up with my grandpa, and I'd go up with my dad. And back then, she probably paid like $56, $58 a month, but money was scarce. And I always saw my grandpa, he'd go in his pocket, he'd give her two 20s. And the old man would give her three 20s. And I used to eat like a king. And she never called me by my name. She always called me child. She said, "Come over here, child." To a grown man, she called me child. But that's what a rent party was back then.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people paid their rent.
Yeah, I'll tell you, 1982. So in 82, Timmy, you said I was 13, right? So I'm 15 in 1982. I'm sorry, it wasn't 82. It was 1980, 13. We won, and that was a big thing then, playing youth football. We back then you didn't really travel. Yes, we traveled, but we only traveled to like 5 boroughs, and we played in Jersey. We played a couple teams in Jersey. We went to Ohio, played a team in Ohio. So being on that 13-year-old team, didn't make it to the NFL, nothing like that, but I was like one of the fortunate ones that played a lot of youth ball. I happened to be blessed that, not blessed, but I won a lot of championships. I played on teams that, we stayed together for years. There's children, young kids that play ball a long time and never experience, I don't care at what level, winning a championship. Well, the reason why I'm talking about 1980, that was not my first championship I won, but it was the first championship I won in football traveling. And I'm not talking about traveling just in the 5 boroughs and within New York. We traveled. And it was something to go, to Ohio and beat this powerhouse team in Ohio. And we're just, 20 kids from surrounding College Point, Flushing, Whitestone, Bayside, whatever, put a certain team together, worked us hard. And that camaraderie, Matt's in the house, he knows, and that camaraderie were life lessons I've learned from youth sports. So many things that I could apply to life, a brotherhood, never leave another guy behind, play for the guy next to you, just certain things. And I don't want to make this about football, but that was a special year. That's why I was 13, and that championship stood out just like some of the young ones in my younger years. You don't forget them, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm 57, and I could still tell you teammates that I played with at 7 years old, coaches that coached me at 7, 8, 9, all through my life. I was still playing ball at 23 because I was a knucklehead with school, but I still played what they call, whatever. Whatever, unlimited, whatever the word they use for it. But thank you, Bobby. That's true. That's 100. Well, I believe you're saying, yeah. No, I know this is about the 80s, but yeah, so many life lessons. That's why, we were saying the other night, and I know we want to stay within the 80s. I'm not going to drift off. It's bad enough I feel bad. Everybody, when we threw us out of here, meet me and a wise guy, thinking we could have some fun with them, but we'll figure out another way. But yeah, I mean, that's why I try to tell parents, and I don't want to be that guy either that's preaching what to do with the kids, but there's a lot of lessons you can learn in team sports, individual competition, and can help you later in life. They carry you all the way through life. One of the greatest things I've ever witnessed was watching my two oldest sons win a championship together on the same team at 9 years old. And, well, Craig, you're talking about youth football. Why is that such a big deal? Well, it was emotional for me to see them, two brothers that are 11 months apart fighting with each other all the time. Right. And now they're hugging, jumping, and hugging each other so tight because now they're football teammates. They're not just brothers. And they experience the ultimate, even though you're only 9 years old. Your team reached the pinnacle of whatever that pinnacle was, and you've learned something from it. Now you learn a lot. You learn a lot in losing too. You do. In my case, I learned not to accept it. But no, yeah, fight. But to experience them watch win a championship together was better than any championship I ever won, because I was so happy that they would because now they're in their 30s. They draw off that. They talk about it. They don't forget their coaches. They don't forget their teammates. It's a lot. Maybe it's just me being very fiery or a motivation guy. No, I just think there's lessons in it. But anyway, let's get back to the golden years of 80, 81, 82. I remember Times Square. We used to sneak in on the subway, Timmy. We used to get on the subway and try to sneak we used to sneak out to Rockaway Playland, which was far from where I am in Queens. But Rockaway Playland was the only, you had Rye Playland up that way, but we weren't getting to Westchester.
I never went to Rye.
Right. So we used to have to go to, we used to get on a train. My brother Joey would take us so many trains, Far Rockaway, Queens, from Flushing, Queens. Maddie, if Maddie's still in the house, it's a trip when you're a kid and your parents don't know. We're spending the day at the beach. We're going to the amusement park, and we're not supposed to be, 2 hours from home, in a rough area. It wasn't, Far Rock. It was a tough area.
I hung out there every summer. That was the Irish Riviera. My dad.
That's what Maddie.
My dad went there, and back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, that was big, and it was all bungalows and stuff. But we used to go there, and it was funny because we used to wind up meeting Puerto Rican girls. There's Irish girls all over the place. But we wind up meeting Puerto Rican girls, and I was the type of guy, especially my grandfather. If I was with somebody, I always introduce them to my family. And my father used to look at me. So one day he put me aside. He said, "What's going on with you?" I said, "What are you talking about, Pop?"
Always a pleasure, GDM. Go ahead, Timmy. I'm
He said,
sorry. Go
"All
ahead.
these Irish girls up here, and you and your buddies, you with the Puerto Rican girls." So I looked at him and I smiled, and he said, "What are you smiling for?" I said, "Pop, don't get mad, all right?" He said, "Well, why? Why would I get mad?" I said, "Because frame wise, 16-year-old, 15-year-old Puerto Rican girl looks like a 25-year-old woman. 15, 16-year-old Irish girl looks exactly like that, a 14, 15-year-old
Good.
girl." And that was the difference, was the beauty. And I'm telling you, if you never dated a Puerto Rican girl, there was some Puerto Rican girls were so beautiful. I mean, beautiful. Their feet were beautiful. That's how pretty they were. And my friends used to laugh when I used to say that. And I say, "Well, am I lying?" I mean, but it was true.
Well,
But I don't know, it was because of the skin tone or same thing with Italian girls. I used to date Italian girls. And I'm not going to lie, I even crossed the line when it was a no no. I used to chase black girls. I used to go down, Webster Avenue by the Cross Bronx Expressway, right there by the 4-8. The 4-8's on one side of
absolutely.
the highway. Yeah, there was a black bar there. It was called Rosie's. And I was doing a job down there one time in construction. We went there in the afternoon. Anyway, make a long story. We got dressed up. We went back with our buddies. And I'm standing in the back there. I'm waiting for a drink. This big black guy comes out of the back room. He puts his hand on my shoulder. And he said, "What are you boys up to tonight?" I said, "Oh, we're just out to meet some women tonight." And he said, "You boys ain't gonna cause no trouble." I said, "I ain't gonna cause no trouble." I said, "Let me show you how I respect your joint." I walked over to the barmaid and I put $100 down. I said, "Give everybody a drink in the joint, including the boss." And from that day on, we were welcome there all the time.
There you go.
So it wasn't like the 70s. Things had relaxed, and I'm not saying the black guys were happy to see us because that was
No,
their wedding.
especially back then. Yeah.
But there was no problems. Once they see you talk to the big guy in the joint and he's cool with it, everything was cool.
But you know what? I'm glad you know, we could segue into this. So now I'm a teenager, but I identified, I think in those teenage years, that I definitely was attracted to Latin women. I can't believe this is turning into this show, but anyway, that's what's good about this show. We keep it real.
We were young.
So I'll tell you, every young buck, especially with the nightclub thing, everybody's got a game plan, right? And I know the women, when they have a game plan with the guys too. It's a two-way street, right? So I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be where all the Italian guys were, right? So I was always hanging out with my Spanish brothers. So I was the only white boy, Italian, whatever phrase they used. I was different than anything those other guys looked like. Not that I was different, meaning better looking. I just didn't look like them. So there's a good chance I found in life being different was good because it changed the pace up a little bit. So I was, there was an attraction on my part, obviously, to Latin women, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever. And I don't know, for me, I don't want to make this about, Casanova shit. No, it ain't like that. But I'm saying, if I went there with 50 Italian guys, no, now there's too much to choose from. No, you only bring one. There's only one to choose. You hear me?
Yeah.
And the green eyes didn't hurt. So there you go. There it is. That was the trick. And I didn't talk a lot. Believe it or not, I talk too much here. I
Yeah.
was the quiet guy. I let everybody yap, blah, 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 all that, all the heavy rap. No, I didn't do none of that. Yo, girl, none of that. No whistling, none of that. I stayed quiet. I acted shy. I wasn't shy, but that was an act.
Right.
Before you know it, you're having a conversation. But I never knew later in life I would wind up, marrying a Puerto Rican woman. And, not that it was ever a thought, but, the attraction was, from young. Who knows why? That's just the way it is. Listen, and again, we're supposed to be in the 80s. Now we're going to go into love. But you cannot control who you fall in love with. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. The thing about that was back then for me was Italian girls. I never had problems with Italian girls. When I moved to Villa Avenue, I was in heaven. I mean, across the hall from me lived one of the prettiest girls I ever saw was Roseanne Marchese. She was a knockout,
Absolutely, Matt.
and
Go ahead,
and her
Timmy.
boyfriend was a dork. And on the other side of me was Carmela Zampella and her two sisters, Phyllis and Mary. Now,
Man, you're remembering names.
Mary was gorgeous, but Mary was young. Uh, Carmela was my age, and Phyllis and I were friends. Phyllis was older than me. Phyllis was a very, very nice girl. God rest in peace. Her and John McLaughlin. They passed away, both of them, but they were really good people. So I was in heaven. I mean, Italian girls, beautiful, and I was surrounded by them. But I kind of fell in love with this girl, Italian girl, Lee Bernasconi, and one day her mother saw me with her. We were holding hands, and we had a great relationship. We were kids. We were 15, 16. All we was doing was kissing. But the mother told her I had to go meet the father. And when I went to the house to meet the father, I sat all the way down the end of the table. And she had two older brothers. So after about an hour of the dinner, he says to me, "So, what kind of Italian name is Timothy?" So right away, he rubbed me the wrong way. And I told him, I said, "I'm not Italian, I'm Irish." And so he talked a little more and then he ignored me. And then that was it. Next day, she came to me crying. She couldn't see me, and I thought that was some BS, but that's the way things were back there. Villa Avenue, especially Italian fathers. I mean, all fathers of their daughters, but the Italian guys took it to extreme. I mean, even though I looked Italian and it wasn't good enough. So that was the end of dating on Villa Avenue. But other Italian girls I met were more, how would you say, more motherly.
Timmy, do me a favor. Let me know if you hear this.
Yeah, we hear you.
Tell me if you hear this.
It's a cash register, right?
Forget it. I tried a different way. Didn't work. Anyway, well,
That's the way it was because parents were very protective of their daughters.
we grew up in a time. I mean, you were already a man, but I was a young kid. But we grew up in a time that my wife would say this. She told me this as well. My wife's Puerto Rican. Um, her parents wanted her to bring home a Puerto Rican guy. Obviously. And my parents, I got to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and say, but I didn't get preached to too much about that. I really didn't. I'll say it for what it is. Nah, I didn't. I didn't. Maybe I was fortunate that way. Now, don't get me wrong. I grew up here and everything. But nah. I mean, yeah, I guess, and my first wife was Italian, no doubt. And that's that. But it wasn't like I went looking for a Puerto Rican woman. Again, you cannot help who you fall in love with. And that goes back to, now I'll go back to the 80s, being 13 years old and having a 17-year-old Puerto Rican girl. I don't know. I have to choose my words carefully here. Um, oh boy, no, not bad, not bad. But 3 or 4 years older. Okay, maybe I'm just turning 14. Um, and So when a 17-year-old and you're 14 tells you she thinks you're cute, yes, yeah, some women in here right now say that's fucking creepy. Well, just like I would as a parent, I wouldn't want to hear, oh dear, CG2, I'm not going forward with this. I promise. I promise. No, but but when you're young, that whoa, a 17-year-old thinks you're cute, and back in those times, I'll just say, I don't want to say badge of honor, but wow, you're a young kid, uh, and you're playing footsie or holding hands with a 17-year-old, whatever it is. You know, I got to tell you, it was intimidating as a kid from being a kid standpoint. Um, but I guess the Latin thing started young.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the truth. But I told you, Flushing was a melting pot. We had,
Yeah.
a lot of Puerto Rican, a lot of black, a lot of Guyanese. So we fought Greek, a lot of Greek. So my best friends growing up, it wasn't until I got we got late 80s that I went into a different neighborhood to hang out, steady with a girl, and she's Italian, and um, then getting really entrenched into an all Italian neighborhood and stuff like that. But where I grew up and where I went to school, no, melting pot, melting pot. And it was some great years. The breakdancing years are some of the fun years. I mean, you look back at it now. I mean, the shit we wore, the clothes, the parachute pants. Do you even remember parachute pants? Timmy, you're a man, so I don't know. I hope somebody out there remembers something called parachute pants.
I know what they are. I know what they are. But
Yeah, they were loose fitting. They were loose fitting. So
yeah,
they were loose fitting, so you could, not like sweatpants. They look like um, they almost had like a nylon feel to them, not like sweatpants though, because they would have a pinstripe on them, but you could break dance in them. So you could walk down the street if you didn't have your Adidas tracksuit on, because that was big back then with the shell toes, Adidas shell toe sneakers. I don't know if you remember them. You probably wore Chuck Taylors.
yeah. I wore Chuck Taylors. I wore the blue suede Clyde Pumas.
Yeah, Puma Clydes were nice. Absolutely.
I
Puma
wore
Clydes, Puma baskets.
high top suede Adidas.
Absolutely, GDM. We wore parachute pants. We wore the pullovers. They were nylon. So if something popped off breakdancing wise, you had to be ready to go. So that was the gear you wore. Whether it was you hanging out in the schoolyard with your big boom box, as you saw in the thumbnail. We didn't have money for the big boom box, so I had the small JVC. But I held that thing walking down Northern Boulevard like it was the biggest radio you ever seen, and that shit was little. But
Well,
that was
what we
the thing.
used to do with the boom box. We used to take a screwdriver because the batteries was, they used what are those D batteries or something like that. And we used to take a screwdriver. We hung out on the corner, so in the street light, we take the bottom plate off the base of the street light. And anybody grew up in New York, knows there's an outlet in there. So we used to plug it to the outlet and we used to blast it. And man, the things they used to throw out the window at us was incredible.
You know what's amazing? It's so true. You know what's great? We're talking about, the different clothes and the styles. I love what Gianni is talking about here. I swear, because you always want to be like your older brother. So I used to tailgate my brother Joey like crazy.
Right.
Where he's 4 years older, so I always wanted to be with him, and he was big on his gear. He was way ahead of the game. Like he was dyeing his sneakers colors long before people were doing that. He was 30 years ahead of the game. I'm serious. So, don't step on his sneakers. He was that guy. But I love what's that?
You ironed your jeans too.
Yeah, forget it. My brother, always had to have creases, but that came from something else. He got used to that. But anyway, I didn't come from a lot of money, so my parents could afford and it's good. It humbles you. And now, you realize it. I don't know if anybody remembers something called New Cons, Pro Keds, but Adidas Shell Toes was my sneaker of choice. I don't know if you guys remember the Sergio Tacchini, not Sergio Tacchini. I'm sorry, take that back. Not the sweatsuit. I don't know if you guys remember the Jordache jeans. The not just for women, they had the Jordache for men. They also had everybody knew about Levi's. Do you remember the Lees? Leee.
Yeah.
Remember Lee? Yeah, like
I
I would never wear a pair of Wranglers for whatever reason. I didn't wear I wore Lees. We didn't have Levi money, so we wore Lees. And the Army and Navy used to have them here in Flushing Main Street.
And all the pretty boys wore Sergio.
Sergio. Well, I guess I was a pretty boy at one time. Now, but yeah. But and then later on in life, I always, as a youngster, I had like the Adidas tracksuits, crazy colors, gray, maroon. I'm gonna get pictures. I'm gonna find some pictures for this. I'm really gonna make sure. Now that I know we can't do what we want to do, we'll show stills and stuff. I got some crazy pictures of some crazy sweatsuits, great colors. Adidas was they were like a satin look, but they were nylon, whatever they were. So we could break dance in them too. But you had your shell toes on. And yes, like my father used to joke around and tell me I was a hat person. I loved hats. So I'd wear Kangos, bucket hats, baseball hats all the time. My father used to joke around with me and tell me, "You're the only guy I know. You would wear a hat. Any hat that's made, you would wear." Like he used to be like, really, you're gonna wear that thing? Like I didn't I didn't give a shit. I would wear whatever. If I liked it, I wore it. As a matter of fact, I got some crazy hat around here I might throw on. But yeah, whatever. But
we
that
wore
was
the Uzi hats.
yeah, but you had but they had names for them.
That was
Run
called
DMC.
the
If everybody remembers Run DMC when they first came on the scene,
yeah.
Everybody was buying those Adidas. Go look at Run DMC's first album. Okay, they're from Hollis, Queens. Okay, let's not get into this hip hop war. Okay, because we own it. Bronx thinks you own it. You don't.
We do.
We own it. Queens owns it.
I don't have nothing to do with hip hop, but we
invented you see, is that right? Is that right?
Ask your wife, Sedgwick Avenue, brother. Ask your
wife. Listen. I paid my dues in the Bronx, my man.
I don't know nothing about hip hop, but I know it comes from the Bronx.
Well, it might come from the Bronx, and I could tell you all of those guys that came from the Bronx, but how about I can rattle off 5 amazing crews that came out of Queens that went way above those originators.
Craig, I just saw it. They had a thing a few months back. I think they put, now you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 1585 Sedgwick Avenue.
Yeah.
They put like a museum there, some kind of memorial.
Yeah, hip hop museum. Well, you had KRS-One up there. You know who lived in my wife's building and heard the same
no.
Bronx River projects? You know who lived? Well, 2 people actually. Africa Bambaataa was out of there. I don't know if you would know who that is, but many in the chat might know. He had many hits, and he ran something called Zulu Nation. That was a crazy movement that we fought like crazy with them. Crazy shit. But that was more going into the freestyle era, which was more like 85, 86.
Right.
Planet Rock,
Right.
Looking for the Perfect Beat. I mean, I could go on and on with it, but I won't. But you had some Houdini, Grandmaster Flash. They're all Bronx guys, no doubt, 100%. Keith Washington came out of Keith Sweat rather. Keith Sweat came out of Bronx River as well. Now in Queens, we had, only because I'm growing up in that era, that's what was popping. That's what we were doing. You understand?
What was
So
his name? McDaniels? The
Keith
guy
Sweat.
from,
Yeah, McDaniel. Yeah.
his name was
Absolutely.
McDaniels.
I love I'll be sure. I'll be sure it's from the
Now you
Bronx.
said what? You said Hollis, Queens, right?
Yeah, a lot of your rappers, LL,
Yeah.
of
But
course, Run DMC.
wasn't there one guy with Run DMC who lived in the Bronx? I'm not saying he was from the Bronx.
Nah, Daryl, they're all from Hollis. Jam Master Jay,
Oh, okay. All right. It
all
wasn't
of them
sure.
are from Hollis. And now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I could tell you anything about hip hop today. I cannot.
Right.
But
Well,
I can just
I
tell
know
you
that
about
group.
that.
You know how I know that group, and it's probably years later. They did that with Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Yeah, and that was a phenomenal. I
That
mean,
was another
again,
big.
I grew out of the hip hop thing, and but that was a nasty track.
Yeah.
They
See,
killed
I
it.
like I love still today. I love female singers, but back in the '70s and the '80s, especially the '80s, like you and I spoke about it. I love Barry White. Barry White
Yeah,
was
well, I grew
great.
up. I mean, if we're gonna really get into that, I grew up in a home. I told you, my mother. I sang "Love on the Rocks" because that's all I freaking heard growing
Yeah.
up. My
Yeah.
mother being a Neil Diamond fan, but my father, all we heard in his house was Lou Rawls, Barry White, uh, Earth, Wind and Fire was my doo-wop. But as far as like the Drifters, my father loved Benny King. So my father liked that soul. Guy from Harlem. Believe me, he had soul in him. So I mean, you growing up as a young kid and you're hearing that intro to "Never Gonna Give You Up," boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and that shit is blasting at 7 a.m. and we're kids trying to sleep, and you hear Barry White. No, I mean, it was hard, and then you find Teddy Pendergrass, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, one of my favorite groups, the OJs. I mean, that's
Something.
all I heard.
It's funny you said that. I felt like a jerk. Do you know I stood and talked to Harold Melvin?
Absolutely, King Dom. Absolutely, 100%. Punk ass, bitch ass. Oh man, I knew that about 15 years ago. That was going around. I'm sure you heard the same shit if we're from around the way. But yeah, he's from my wife's projects.
What did
Punk ass,
this
fat
guy?
ass.
This guy made a famous song, right? LL Cool J.
LL Cool J is from Hollis. He's from
No,
Queens.
but I'm just saying he was. I know him as an actor, but he made some famous rap song, right?
Yeah, he had many hits, but you know what?
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge LL guy. I mean, I liked some of his later stuff, like
He's a good actor.
But
He's
I
another good
wasn't a huge
actor.
like Rock the Bell. His early shit I didn't like. I didn't. I'm being honest. But I liked like groups like Kingdom. Maybe it sounds like maybe some guys know a little bit about hip hop, but like you won't know the guys that I liked. Eric EPMD, Eric B and Rakim, more so than the other stuff. EPMD to me, I like Wu-Tang Clan, even though he had Mama Gonna Knock You Out. Yeah, I like Gianni. I love doo-wop too, but we're trying to keep it in, that 80 thing. Houdini, The Freaks Come Out at Night. Are you kidding me? That was banging.
When I was a kid, there was a Italian guy lived across the way, and he had the old Victrola. You remember that old Italian song? I used to love it. I mean, it's old. It's from the 20s.
Gianni's here. I like classic. I love it all. There's not a genre of music I didn't learn to love or appreciate, especially as I got older, because at one time I hated country music. Couldn't stand it. But guess what? God has a funny way of working. I wind up bouncing in so many country western bars and clubs later on that after so many nights of doing it, you have no choice. But now you don't realize you know every word to fucking every Toby Keith song ever sang, Brooks and Dunn, and now you're starting to like country music. And and to today, I really love country music. I like it. There's not much I don't like outside of the hip hop today. I don't understand. I can't hear it. I don't know what they're talking about. Whatever.
What
But
I
I
was
like
going to tell you
everything.
is I love Pavarotti, but do you remember Rick James?
Rick James was, another not a great person, but Rick James was a musical. I mean, I could, Rick James with the Mary Jane Girls. I mean, me and Nick, we were talking today. We were going back and forth with
He was a
different
freak,
music things. He
Rick
was quizzing me
James.
on some things. I love music, so
He was from White Plains, Rick James.
Yeah, you kidding me? Super Freak. But forget about Rick James, Mary Jane Girls. He made them. They had some big hits. Rick did a lot of stuff behind the scenes too.
Didn't he do
being
that song, The Freaks Come Out at Night?
That's Houdini. Freaks
Oh,
come out at
Houdini.
night.
Yeah. I used to love that
Freaks
song.
come out at night. Freaks come out.
George Clinton.
Oh, let's get Gianni. Gianni wants me. All right, Nelson and Waylon. I mean, look, there was a time, I'll be honest, guys, I can never, and I'll get pushed back on this. For me to try to sit down and listen to a Bob Dylan song, and I'm okay with saying it, I'd rather jump out a window. I don't understand. Yeah. I mean, that drives me nuts. So we're never going to hear that growing up. I'll go to Willie Nelson. I learned to appreciate Willie Nelson.
I only know one song by Waylon
Jennings. What?
Waylon Jennings made Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys.
Yeah.
I used to like that song.
Listen, Brooks and Dunn, My Maria. I mean, I know country because I worked it, so I got used to listening to it. And now there's somebody I like. Zach Williams. I love Zach Williams.
You remember Ronnie Millsap?
Yeah, I know the name. I can't like with that genre. I can't.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. He sang. Yeah,
many hits.
Yes. Yeah, he sang. A big hit was when he first came out. You know, he could sing like Elvis, exactly like Elvis. He made a tribute called "The King Is Gone." It was a big hit for him. I like the little country. I mean, I like Willie Nelson.
Now, all right, Maureen Freak, you did it. Maureen Freak, you just did it. Now you set it off. Now we're going freestyle. Don't get me started, because Timmy is not going to want no part of this, and you guys are lucky I can't play it, because I had freestyle was going to be up all night. You would have wanted to throw me out of here tonight. Timmy, have you ever heard of George Lamond, Coro, TKA, Lisa?
Lisa, I have. Not the other.
Melendez, any of them?
No, just Lisa.
Johnny O.
No.
All right. It wasn't your time. By that time you're probably like 27. 26. I'm 17.
Well, at that age I was in love with I love Whitney Houston. I love later on Mariah Carey. I love Donna Summer when she came out. Of course, Celine Dion. One of my favorites when I was young was Shaka Khan. All-time favorite, Roberta Flack. I loved Roberta Flack.
Roberta Flack had a great song.
First time I ever saw your face. Another girl I loved her music I was in love with was Gladys Knight.
And the Pips, or just Gladys Knight?
Well, I love Gladys Knight. I mean, the guys are right.
Yeah, I'm an R&B guy, big time. You're talking about this. I'll tell you something. Roberta Flack did a song with a guy named Donny Hathaway.
Yeah, Closer I Get to You.
Get to You is one of the most beautiful songs. I mean,
she's my favorite.
I like Genuine. I like D'Angelo. I mean, I love R&B. I just told you, I grew up listening to Barry White banging as a young kid.
You know who had a great voice? Shaka Khan.
Unbelievable.
I met her downtown in an office building. They got a call. They were doing a video in the back of 85 Broad Street. That was Goldman Sachs headquarters where I worked.
That's crazy. 85 Broad. I know it well.
Guy called me. Yeah. And the guy called me. He said, could you come to the desk? I was a foreman there. And I go to the desk and I look at the guy, and there was a tall black lady, pretty lady. She had a shaved head. She had a bald head. And then there was this little tiny lady. And I looked at her, and she had all the curls. And of course, I knew what she looked like. I loved the music. And I said to her, I said, "You're Shaka Khan." And she looked at me and she smiled. And she came over and she gave me a hug. She says,
Yeah,
"Nobody
Shaka.
knows me no more." But
I used to love. Yeah, you remember
Evelyn
Evelyn King Champagne,
Champagne,
Stephanie Mills. That's great
yes,
music. Classic.
Dorothy Moore, Misty
There
Blue,
we go. James Ingram. I loved all of that.
James
I
Ingram.
love to
And
this
I love
day.
Peaches and Herb
Yeah,
reunited.
yeah. I like a couple of their stuff. That guy who used to beat his wife. I remember hearing all of that
I
stuff.
like Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes.
Yeah. How about Bobby Caldwell? For years, I thought that was a black guy singing. I wish I could play it now. What You Won't Do for Love?
Yes.
If everybody's home, type it in, pull up that video. Whoever
Another guy,
doesn't know who sings that, you're going to be shocked when you see that's coming out of that guy. That man is singing that song.
What was that? I forgot his name.
Yeah, R&B again. Yeah, I could talk about all. Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of the guys from Yonkers. Timmy, for a period of time, I was on McLean Avenue up in Yonkers. So you had up there, we had a Cuban Link lived across the street, so he was still down with Terror Squad at that time. Pun was already gone, I believe. So, but you also had up there Jadakiss. You probably won't know them. And you had still up there. And it's funny. It's not funny, but DMX is gone now. But the defense attorney that represented me represented DMX in a case. In all his cases, and he told me the craziest thing. I don't think I told this story, and this isn't mob shit, but he told me. He said, tell you how crazy DMX is. He's in his office one day, and DMX was always in trouble back in the day. And he's with his Murray Richmond, the lawyer, and he's going through his pockets like, what the, when you feel like you got something in your pocket, and he pulls out a wrinkled, crumpled $10 million check from a music company that he didn't even know, that he forgot he had a $10 million check in his pocket. And I believe it. Like Murray, this guy had no reason to tell me bullshit. You know what I mean? It wasn't to pass time. Well,
the other girls from over there too in Yonkers, Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, Mary J. from that way. Yeah.
I always liked that.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel's from the next town over. Denzel is from Mount Vernon, New York, and so was Dick Clark.
Dick Clark. Yeah, I remember Guy Lombardo. Gianni.
Well, here Gianni brought up a great singer. Yeah, Al Green. I loved Al Green, and Maddie put Brown Sugar, which I love. Brown Sugar. Rolling Stones. He had what was that song he had with all them fine Puerto Rican girls?
Who? Al Green?
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger? Well, it was Brown Sugar, right?
No, you will be mine. And
I wasn't a big Stones guy.
Neither. I like the Stones, a few songs. I had a girlfriend, Angela, and we called her Angie, and then he came out with the song Angie.
Yeah, all right.
And we used to dance.
I like that one too. Angie is that the Stones? Angie, right? Angie.
Yes.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, I like the Beatles. I should have known better.
No, don't even bring that name up. Oh God, no, please. That's as bad as Dee-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-doo, woo-doo. The Beatles. Oh.
The Beatles made some good songs.
For you, no. Look, everybody. That's what makes the world go round. We all got different tastes.
No,
in this house,
I'm with you. I didn't love all of their songs.
I just didn't know what the fucking big deal was. But again, they got here before I'm a kid. You know what I mean? So look, you're a product of what you listen to and what you're born into. So I'm sure if the Beatles were being played in my house, I would have grew up a Beatles fan. My father couldn't stomach them. So guess what was not being played in this house?
Right.
My father loved Barry White, Lou Rawls, the Drifters, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes,
Yeah.
and on, Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge, and,
Yeah.
and I could go on and on. That's what you heard. So
I met him. I met Johnny Maestro. I met him in Plato's Cave. He sang in, and we tried to offer him more money. He wouldn't stay.
Yeah, no doubt. But I would have to say, like, I probably like, as I get older, like, it'll shock you at 57. I really appreciate what goes on in Europe with music, with the EDM and the crowds, fucking 100,000, 120, and they're just bumping for 2 days straight, set after set. And I just appreciate, I love it. I mean, look, I'm not saying I want to be in that crowd, but I appreciate the Gigi D'Agostino's, these, I'll just use the names, the Swedish House Mafia. I mean, but there's so many that I do appreciate what they do. I mean, it's hard to turn out 120,000 people. Nobody's killing each other, and they are just bumping the music for 3 days straight. Now, yeah, you got to be geeked up on some shit, but let me tell you, man, these guys can make them turntables. You thought Grandmaster Flash was good because he was good at what he did, working 4 and 5 turntables when he's scratching and all of that. What these guys do today with EDM, back then we called it Raven. Oh my God, incredible. Afrojack, David Guetta, those Avicii, died way too young, but whatever. But my young ones got me to like that. Like, I would have never thought I would like that. But yeah, I mean.
Did you like rock and roll?
Yeah, I mean, again, not as a youngster.
Did you like?
I find myself.
I liked all kinds. Like, I liked Judas Priest. You got another thing coming. I liked AC/DC. Because I told you Pink Floyd. I love Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, my brother was that guy. I grew up listening to Nazareth, Deep Purple. I hated it. I liked Kiss. I did like Kiss. I love Van Halen. I love Van Halen.
My cousin Chris, you talk about playing music. He played Kiss 24 hours a day. That's
Absolutely,
how
King Dom, and what do I know? I'm agreeing. I definitely agree with you.
I cut him off when he started playing that Bay City Roller crap. I said, no bubblegum music in here.
Yeah. Well, don't make fun of the Bay City Rollers. SATY. But no, that's good stuff, man. But you know what? Music is something special. So special about music is not. Sometimes it can get you because I could hear something and it brings me immediately to a place and a time.
Right.
Especially when I start listening to 80s now, 70s. And, sometimes you could get caught up in that and you start thinking of people that are no longer here. And that's not good either. But there's some, like, to me, yes, I grew up in the 80s. My teenage years were in the 80s. But to me, the 70s had some unbelievable music. I like all that Seals and Crofts stuff, Ambrosia, Toto. I love all of that stuff. I'm a big Doobie Brothers guy. I like everything. I like everything. Lynyrd Skynyrd, I like it all. There's not much I don't like.
In the 70s, for some reason, I liked a lot of 60s and late 50s. Like, a guy I really fell in love with was, what a great, great singer. I fell in love with his music, not him. Was Richie Valens.
Richie Valens?
Oh, Richie Valens.
That guy?
Yeah, and he had a great song. It was called Donna. I love that song. He had some
I know a lot of his music. Sure. Again, pop, listening to that. I knew the whole story about him, Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
The plane crash.
I didn't like
it, right? He was supposed to be on it, correct?
Yes, he lost the flip. The Big Bop. Well, no, the Big Bopper. No,
Big Bopper and Buddy Holly was on it.
Yeah, no, the guy who lost the flip was the guy you spoke about before. Waylon Jennings lost the flip.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy
Yeah,
Holly got on the plane. Yeah.
GDM. I gotta tell you this, GDM.
Yes.
It's funny because my children, they laugh at me,
Yeah.
because I'm a huge Doobie Brothers guy,
Yes.
but even more so 80s, 90s. To me, Michael McDonald could sing. There's not many that can do what Michael McDonald can do. That's why there are so many tracks. Nikki and me spoke about this today. He was talking about a certain song and he quizzed me. And I kind of guessed, but I remember somebody telling me it. And it had to do with that song, Ride Like the Wind by
Cross.
Christopher Cross. Remember that song, Ride Like the Wind?
Yes.
And there's a chorus in there. And I got such a long way to go. And that's
Yeah.
Michael McDonald in the chorus.
Yes. Yes.
Michael McDonald changed a lot of sounds throughout. He worked with Kenny. A lot of songs people didn't even know Michael McDonald was part of, but he's in the chorus. He wasn't just replacing Tom Johnson with the Doobie Brothers. He was changing sounds of music throughout.
Yeah. He was great. He had a great voice.
Huh?
I think, for my money, the greatest.
Come on, what a fool believes.
It's not even close. I think the greatest rock and roll singer of all time was Freddie Mercury.
Benny, if Benny was here right now, and if he's in the chat, we lost a lot of people, and I'm sorry for that. That's my fault. Blame me. It is my fault.
What happened?
Benny was the hugest Queen fan, and I got to tell you, I didn't. My wife loved Freddie's voice, no doubt. I wasn't a huge Queen fan, but as I got older, I learned to truly appreciate his talent, and there's no denying it. He might have had maybe one of the, because he could sing opera if he wanted to. He had a voice like no other. Just like they called Philip Michael Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire the voice. Well, Freddie was the voice, and he has a song. Everybody knows all their big ones, but they have a song, "Show Must Go On." He hits a note in that song that is like retarded. Like, how does this guy hit this note? Just like kind of like if you hear Michael McDonald sing "What a Fool Believes," the way he carries it throughout. It's like you're blessed with this voice. Yeah, I mean, you could work on it, man. Like, shit. If I had a voice, Timmy, boy, we'd be on the road all the time. Me and me be on the road, boy. We'd be on that mechanical bull.
That's a song, on the road again.
Just like, hey, I told you, like Willie Nelson.
You remember that song, Sideshow? That guy had some voice.
Sideshow.
It was step right up, hurry, hurry, before the show begins, my friends. Yeah. Remember the voice on that guy?
The sideshow.
Yes. And then he hit that high note. Oh, my Lord. That guy could really sing.
That was a beautiful song. Yeah.
That was gorgeous.
See, now we got people talking music. Now we can go all night. My mother's going to be like, yo, get out of here.
Craig, Blue Magic sang that song.
Beautiful.
Sideshow.
It's funny. Me and Nick were talking about Tommy James and the Shondells, and then I told him about
Mooney.
Yeah, and Crystal Blue Persuasion, beautiful song.
Oh, Crystal.
And then you had Pepe Cardona created a group. He's from the Bronx.
I
know.
They
had a one-hit wonder, but Tommy James made them.
Alive and Kicking.
And I heard them sing on Arthur Avenue. What a song that was.
I told them one night in French Charlie's. I said, I told them one night in French Charlie's. I said, you play that goddamn song one more time, I'm gonna throw you right through the window.
Oh, I love that too.
Every Friday, Saturday night, and he had a friend of mine, Sean Farrell. Sean Farrell had some voice.
See, now I could go. You see how we're talking about that? Now Davey's bringing up that.
Rest his soul. He just passed away, Pepe Cardona.
Did he?
Yeah, he passed from COVID.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great song, man.
He used to tell me, "Get away from me, you crazy son of a bitch."
I'll tell you, man. I love that tune, and when I knew the backstory with him and Tommy James, believed in them. But Davey, I want to get to you now to just show you, music is music, and Marshall Tucker Band. Like I'm seeing all these things, as I got older, I just Bob Seger, forget it, man. But the roller skating music was some of the great for me. Like there was a tune. I wish I could fucking play it. It went like bounce, roll skate, boom, it's called Using Company, I think. Oh man, forget it. Like the Johnson Brothers, Stomp. Girl, we're gonna make it to the top. We're gonna stomp all night. Oh, forget it. It was banging. That shit was banging. The Gap Band. I love the Gap Band. Like that's R&B at its best. Outstanding. You dropped the bomb on me. The D Train. You're the one for me. I can go on and on, man.
Did you like Boz Scaggs?
I did, Lido.
The Dirty
Then
Low Down.
then he had some ballads that were beautiful too.
Yeah, he had the Dirty Low Down, and then he had Love. Look what
Love,
you've done
look
for
what
me.
you've done for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lido. Whoa.
How about Joan Jett?
It's funny. She came up today. I liked her, but I like Pat Benatar a lot more.
Yeah. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I used to
Yeah,
love
no, I didn't dislike her. I just love Pat Benatar. Hellish
what's
Children.
that song?
Oh man. Whew.
What's that song she made? Standing on the corner,
Best
crying.
shot, that wasn't even her best. To me, her best was everybody's different, you know. Hellish Children was great. Oh God, I wish
Harden My Heart.
Who?
Harden My Heart.
I'm thinking of another one.
No, but
Ain't No Stopping Us Now, GDM, McFadden and Whitehead, love that. Great song. Roller Skating Days, no doubt. Somebody think of Pat Benatar's songs. If you could pull, I don't want to have to pull this shit up.
Hit me with your best
Pat
shot.
Benatar had a song that was just crazy. Incredible.
Hit me with your best shot.
No, I loved Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. It's
a big hit was Harden My Heart.
No,
that was a big hit.
I'm going to get good songs, no doubt. I liked all her stuff, but there was a couple that were like just killers. I'll tell you the name of it right now, and you'll know it. You're gonna be like, "Oh, Pat Benatar," and you know she married her husband as a guitarist with her forever. I didn't know she's from Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I just found that out right this second.
Really?
We Belong was a great song she sang.
We Belong.
Heart of My Heart was Quarter Flash. That's right, Nick. Oh, Shadows of the Night. You listen to that song, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. I'll throw this fucking mic right now. That shit is crazy.
Did you like
you ever see Steve Harvey in the Kings of Comedy? When he just can't take it no more, he just pulls the fucking mic out because he can't hear it no more. I'm telling you, music can do that to you.
Yeah.
You could want to throw somebody out a window, jump out a window, or just break it down.
Well, I loved Bernie Mac was my guy.
Yeah, you know, Love is the Battlefield. You see, now the Benatar songs are coming. I didn't like Blondie. My wife loved Blondie. I all right.
I love Rapture.
It wasn't my thing, though.
I love Kim Carnes, too. Betty Davis Eyes. I love that song.
Yeah, Kim Carnes was nice. I love Stevie Nicks.
Love Stevie
Nicks. Alice Cooper, that wasn't for me, Nicky.
Did you like Don Henley?
Yeah,
from
of
the
course.
Eagles?
Yeah.
It was good, Don Henley. I love Don Henley.
Glenn Fry. I mean, the Eagles were incredible. I mean, no doubt.
He passed away too, Glenn Fry.
Joey Boy, what's happening, kid? Good to see you, everybody. Sorry, I got thrown off before.
Long time,
being
Joe.
good boys now.
Hope everything's good, Joe.
Lynyrd Skynyrd. Come on, man. What? What?
Yeah.
You got to give me a reason. You got it, Zeppelin.
Oh, I love Led Zeppelin.
All right, why is Zeppelin better than Lynyrd Skynyrd?
I didn't say they were better. I just like Zeppelin. I didn't really care.
It's a matter of opinion. It's what you like.
Yeah, it's what you like. Absolutely.
I
just
never thought
I don't like it doesn't mean they weren't good.
I mean, come on, it's some of their music. Another Jim Croce. Me and Nick were talking about Jim Croce today. I love that.
What's
Gotta
that?
be in the mood. Dr. Hook. Remember Dr. Hook? When you're in love with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Jim Croce.
Crazy music.
Jim Croce made a beautiful song, "Time in a Bottle."
Time in a Bottle might be one of his best. Leroy Brown was the big one, but Time in a Bottle was, if you listen to the lyrics, unbelievable. My father was like Jim Croce.
Did you like Cat Stevens?
Wow, Nikki, if you're still in the house, did you hear what Timmy just asked? He
Oh, I love
asked
Cat
if I
Stevens.
like Cat Stevens.
He was great.
You know what me and Nikki talked about today?
What?
Cat Stevens. Nikki's going to be bouncing in a second saying Timmy Irish, you're the man, because I badmouthed him. I didn't badmouth him. I liked some of his music. He reminded me of, I actually said it was, he had a lot of hits, but they were very slow. I can't take nothing from him. I won't. How could I?
How about Love, Look What You've Done to Me?
Oh, come on. Those are classics.
That was a great hit. How about Joe Cocker?
Learn to appreciate him later in life.
Well,
absolutely. But what he did on stage just freaked me the fuck out. So I it was hard. But now, yeah, I can jive. Yeah, my man was spazzing out.
Did you ever hear the song he did? I'm Feeling All Right.
Look what Timmy did. What Nicky did, because we were talking about Cat Stevens today. Because he had changed his name to Yusef something for a long time, and now he's back to Cat Stevens.
Really?
Leonard Skinner. Yeah, Davey, help me out. Come on, what's going on here?
What was the other guy? Harry. What was his name?
Harry Chapin.
Yeah. Remember Taxi?
Remember we did it. Hey, wait, I'll do it again for you. You ready? I had you laughing the other night. All right, here we go. We'll try one time, Taxi.
No.
What the fuck was his name? Jim? And so I used to die laughing whenever he would come in. The guy was always banged up.
Jimmy No.
Yeah, I would be dying laughing.
No, Harry Chapin. No, the singer. No.
Yeah, Harry Chapin. You kidding me?
No, he makes the song about.
Now I'm going to do that the rest of the night. You should have started it. You're going to fucking leave.
Every time you do that, I feel like Tony Danza.
Alex.
But you remember Harry Chapin? He made that
song. He has a song that I can't even listen to because it's too. It's hard.
Like Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah, Cats in the Cradle. You can listen to the lyrics about that.
Yeah.
Listen to those lyrics. Your children. Your dad maybe didn't have time. Now you become that. Deep, very deep. You guys didn't know this side of me. Now I know the easiest way to get you laughing is just do my man Jim from Taxi.
Oh, I love it. When you first did that, I pissed my pants when you first did that. I couldn't stop laughing.
Listen, Anthrax, I could talk. Listen, you guys, I'll surprise you with that. How about Public Enemy when they did that drop with Anthrax? Hear the drummer get wicked. That was nasty. There was a whole big bass drop on that, and they did a Bring the Pain, I think was the name of the song. Bring the Pain. Not Bring the Pain, Turn It Up. Bring the Noise was the name of that song. Bring the Noise. Anthrax. Ruby's laughing. I think she's laughing at this. I think so. I'm not sure. Or just the fact that we know Third Base. Yeah, Pop Goes the Weasel. All of that. Pete Nice. What was it? What was the other kid's name? They had Pop Goes the Weasel. The Gas Face. They had all of that stuff. Yeah, that was good. You like Third Base? I like Third Base, but they didn't stick around too long. Yeah, around for a minute. But that's my era. King John, you spent a lot of time in the BX. I'm a Queens kid, just happened to spend a good part of my life in the Bronx. And Timmy says that I'm actually more Bronx than Queens. I don't know. Some might argue with him. Don't, Maddie, now you brought up Peter Frampton. Don't make me start singing Frampton. You guys are going to leave. But my brother was a Frampton guy.
I like Frampton.
I mean, he had hit after hit. But I love the Cars. I love the Cars.
Well, I like the Cars.
Yeah, I love that group, the Cars. Yeah,
I like the. You remember the B-52s? They made.
Look at it. Now we're talking about Taxi, GDM. Alex.
You remember the B-52s?
Yeah, I wasn't with that whole. I got into it a little bit later, but I wasn't with like Devo and Clash. I mean, I did like this is Radio Clash. Dum, dum, dum.
Well,
You
the
know,
big song they had was Love Shack.
Let it whip. Dum, 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 dum.
Remember that? The Love
Yeah,
Shack baby. So
yeah.
my first wife, she used to put on a big floppy hat.
Timmy.
Yeah.
They're probably fucking. I'm irritating everybody. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. It's just easy to make them laugh now.
But I love that song, Love Shack.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a
We
good
used to
song. I mean,
play
I
that
can't say
me
it
and
was
my wife.
bad. I just, like if I told you, oh, God, if I say this, you guys will never let me live it down, so I won't say it. Oh, King Dom said, last time I was in Queens, what? No, get out of here. Well, hold on a minute. Last time I was in Queens, I had just robbed 4 kilos and 80K. It was the safe I could carry, and I broke in Sahari the Rapper's driveway. I'm just going to say one thing to you, King Dom. I don't know who you're speaking about, but I'm going to ask you one question. I'm just going to give a neighborhood. No, great score. We're not here, we're talking music, but whatever. Great score. Balls the size of a greyhound to pull that off. But I want to say this. College Point, Queens, years ago. We'll leave it at that. I don't know if that, because there was some heavy stuff going on. We had OG Ruby, Belmont Avenue. You know what's funny, Ruby? You say Belmont Avenue. I had a friend of mine that lived on Beaumont. How do you say it, Timmy? Beaumont.
Beaumont.
Yeah, I was going to get an apartment I was going to get an apartment there. But it was so small. My wife looked at it and said, are you kidding me? Where are we going to put these kids? The fucking bathtub is in the kitchen. That's how old the buildings were.
OG Ruby, do you know what famous person comes from Belmont Avenue?
Well, what? Dion's from 183rd and Crotona, right?
Just gave it away.
Because I found that place. Love is in one
187th in Belmont.
187th in Belmont. Okay.
Yeah.
A friend that lived on 183rd and Crotona. My aunt lived on 187th and Southern.
He
149th and Northern Boulevard, my brother. 149th and Northern. Queens is in the house.
Chaz Palminteri as a kid.
Whatever.
Chaz Palminteri used to look at him.
With Chaz Palminteri. Papa Tubby, that's right. That's blood. That's blood. Tell him, Davey. He don't know nothing about the Papa. He don't know nothing about Papa Chubby. He never seen my cousin get down on the guitar. He never seen it. But he don't like guitar work by the sound of it. Timmy didn't like Skinner. He didn't like the Allman Brothers. He liked Van Halen, though, right?
Yes.
Ain't Talking About Love. How sick is that song?
And I didn't like Jimi Hendrix either.
Oh, you would hate my cousin and you wouldn't like him. Davey T. If he don't like Hendrix, right? Davey's laughing. If he doesn't like Hendrix, would you say he would not like my cousin Nick? Not that my cousin is a Jimi Hendrix cover band. He's not. He's Maddie's in the house. Maddie could tell you. Whatever. When you ever get a chance, Timmy,
yeah,
I'm not a rhythm and blues guy. It's my own cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I listen to him.
But I appreciate his guitar work. I learned to really appreciate his guitar work. But people that understand, true guitarists, they all tell, like Dave. Oh, he's saying you wouldn't like my cousin at all. He's a rhythm and blues guy. Me and Maddie went to see him. He's not doing too good right now with his spine, so some issues. He had to cancel his whole summer tour. But he's in Europe a lot. They love him in Europe. He's huge in Europe. Huge. Oh, Maddie says everybody must. Rick James, yeah, Rick James is a musician. Oh, OG Ruby, what's that, Ruby? What we got now?
No,
my brother looked like. All right, break it down for us. You got to help me here. I guess we're talking about either a reggaeton or a rapper. Am I right or wrong? Just
Daddy
push me in
Yankee.
direction, and I can go that way too.
Daddy Yankee.
Daddy Yankee. You guys forget I bounced for a lot of years, so I had to hear this. So you get to know it. Forget and raising children in that. So
How about that song? Hey,
Gasolina.
baby, I like it like that. Remember
Oh,
that?
that's like pop. That's bubblegum. Good
Man,
song.
you don't know good
No,
music.
but it is.
That's party music, brother. That's
Patsy
that.
Cline and I'm lazy.
Oh, I love Patsy Cline.
Yeah. If I want to fucking hang myself.
I love Perry Como.
Yeah. Again, if I was in 1930 with a fucking triple-breasted suit on and a wool jacket, sweating to death. Nah, he was a great. He had a
Elvis
great voice, no
Presley.
doubt. But I can't. Not who am I? I can't sing a lick. You heard me do "Love on the Rocks." I can't. I can't say nobody's bad.
Oh yeah, Charlie Rich. I like Charlie Rich.
Charlie Rich.
Who else?
How about Dolly Parton?
Love
Jolene. Her old
Love
stuff. Jolene.
Love her. I love Tammy Wynette, Loretta Lynn.
How about Heart? The group
Stand
Heart.
by
It's
your
one of my
man.
wife's favorite group. Heart.
Who?
Heart.
Oh, Heart. Barracuda.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to talk about the Copacabana. I know we're supposed to be in the 80s, but I'm going to just jump a little bit. So back in the day, when I was doing the club thing, unfortunately, it was not in the 80s. So we'll get it wrapped here. But I think it was every Thursday night we were in the Copa. Tuesday night we were in a place called Cafe Iguana. Ruby, if anybody knows those spots, let me know. They were known for, it was for everybody. There was different rooms, different music, but it was, if you like the Latin vibe, Timmy, like I know you would have, that was the place. Neil Young.
Who sang the song Ruby?
Yep, you see Ruby? Thank you for confirming me, Rube. Thank you, babe.
Who sang the song Ruby?
What song?
Ruby. Don't take your love to town. You remember that song? Bro. That was Kenny Rogers in the first edition.
Heart is torn again, Craig. I love Heart. Yeah.
Well, the only song they had was Barracuda.
No, stop. Listen, I'm not a Heart fanboy, but don't make me go to the phone. Don't make me pull it up. I just did it with Benatar. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You're gonna feel like him when I'm done. I'm telling you. Did you see the tribute they did to Zeppelin at the Hall of Fame?
I don't watch that stuff.
Oh, GDM, thank you, Gina. She agreed. If I want to fucking hang myself, I'll listen to And I'm crazy for living you.
How about I got your pictures and she's got you?
With Joey Bonamassa, my cousin.
Well, John,
great stories with these guys.
What, 12 years old, he opened, Joe Bonamassa, at 12 years old, he opened for B.B. King.
Unbelievable.
Just great guitar.
Timmy, it's up to you, bud. I got Elizabeth here, and I got to, get her where she got to go.
Okay.
I had a great time. I could talk music all night, but this is what this 80s show is going to be. We're going to figure out a way for me to figure out this system. I'll be up to it. But Wednesday night, we're going to go through the 80s, then we'll get to the 90s. We'll get to all eras of music. Well, really, it seems like music really seems to be the thing.
Yeah.
It's a great topic. I think it is.
I want when we do it again, I want OG Ruby Almighty to come up on the panel.
All right, Timmy, you got me. I'm going to have to say I love you guys, and we'll see you Friday night. Timmy, you got it from here?
No, cut us off. Let's go. I got to go back to work.
I don't want to cut you off. You're talking. You're doing your thing. Go ahead.
I got to go back to work, brother.
All right. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, shit, I forgot. Yeah, by the way, folks, Timmy is... I'm
MIA.
Oh, Sada, what's happening? You missed a good night of us arguing about music, and it's very easy to make Timmy laugh. All you have to do is Jim from Taxi, halfway decent, and he'll laugh. Watch this. I'll let him stop, and then here it goes again. Watch this. And he's that's it. He's done.
When you
Guys,
do that, you know what I picture in my mind? Him standing next to that big
yeah,
checker cab with Danny DeVito.
absolutely. Fucking Danny DeVito was great. Guys, I'm sorry. Some people lost us tonight. That's my fault. I was being a knucklehead. I wanted to push the envelope. I promise I won't be a bad boy with the YouTube
It's funny.
algorithm. But yo, Chris, well, I'm about to say goodnight, but Ain't Talking About Love. You know I love that tune. That's one of the best ones they did. And I'm going to end it on that. Love you guys. That theme song is going out, so they might shut it down again. But guess what? We're done for the night. Guys, have a great night. Love you guys. We wind up having some fun anyway, and that's what this is all about. We're past the point of worrying about views. They demonetize us. We're going to do what we do, and our shows are going to still be good and get better. They're just not going to push us out there for more people to sub to us and stuff like that. But guess what? There's an answer for everything. And we're having fun, and that's what this is about. And dropping, we had more fun talking about music and people's interests. Awesome. I had hey Chris, man, you're welcome here all the time, brother. Every Wednesday night we'll be doing 80s music, whatever it turns into be. But we're gonna go down this road with music. But thank you all for coming in. I normally always shout everybody out. You all know who you are. I'm running crazy late. I didn't realize I had to get my daughter back. But anyway, I'm still going to play the theme going out. So let's see if they shut it down. Hey, guys, stick around. Tell me if they shut it down. Guys, have a good night. Love you guys. See you Thursday.